What's up, everyone? I'm the Panda Photographer. Oh, there you are. Where did you guys go? Sorry. I'm used to the camera being on this side now. Um, Basically, to everyone, I'm here to explain something as a photographer and why contracts are so important and how they can protect you from the wrong clients and protect you from any wrongdoing. So, let me get this set up. Oh, okay. That's interesting. So, in the last week, you guys haven't really seen much content from me because, in honesty, I need to focus on my main priorities, which is trying to give you guys content, but also I need to financially support that and keep the lights on here. So, if you guys don't mind, I do appreciate you guys. I do really do appreciate it if you guys take the time out to understand that as a photographer, as a travel photographer and travel consultant, it's really tough. It's really hard trying to make ends meet. And I shit you not, it is so competitive for jobs right now. It's like the next person's gonna cut your throat, literally, at an interview and say why you should pick that person over this person. You know, I don't want to go through that process. And I've been through that process with companies and 500 companies. It's just not really something my cup of tea. But no matter what, in the art of photography, you got other photographers that also want to cut your throat, take your business away, or let's say defamation is one of those problems when photographers say something about another photographer. It is defamation, and you got to be extremely careful on what you say on YouTube. But with that said, everyone, I'm the Panda Photographer. I provide content that makes sense, and I try to. And as a travel photographer that has traveled quite a bit for a long time, I have the experience and the knowledge to inform you what you should do as a travel photographer. And one of those things is, please don't do what I do unless you're willing to, man up and fight for your property. I'm a walk-in studio. Try to bring as minimum gear as possible or rent. That's one of the key factors about travel photography. Make sure you have a budget to rent. Now, let's see here. Nice idea, photography contrast. Good topic. Yeah, it is a good topic because I've been through some of my own issues. Does the audio sound really good, by the way? I just really wanted to know. Because the camera's over there, but my microphone's right here, so I'm using the Zoom H4n Pro. Voila. No pop filter on top whatsoever. I'm about 11 inches from the microphone, so it should sound good. Hopefully it does sound good. But let me go to the main screen here so you guys can see me in glorious 1080p 60 frames a second. So this is recorded at 1080p 60 fps. So, and I'm using my Sony camera as my webcam and the Sigma 1835. It's a beautiful camera and a beautiful lens, and I really love that lens so much. I'm never going to get rid of this lens because it's one of my favorite money makers. It helps me make money. It helps me create images that you see before you on the page here. So this is my Instagram. Before we get into the topics on for contracts, and this is how I'm going to show you a little bit of history and why I'm getting to the point of contracts. Here is my Instagram. Yesterday I posted not a very old image, but a 3-year-old image of me and Jessica. Jessica is from St. Pablo, Brazil. She came up here to hang out with me in Madison, Wisconsin, and that summer when it was extremely hot. And I took this picture. I wanted to emphasize that, but here are all of my images that you guys can see. And over the times and over the course of years trying to develop a skill set, I find myself with some troublesome issues with people that want to hire me to do photography. Now keep in mind that I always am flexible based on the person's needs, but when it comes down to pricing, it's always this would you rather do it for free? Now I'm going to talk about doing it for free because it's not going to help you pay the bills. If you're skilled at something that you do, would you want to do it for free, or would you want to do it for some money to help you pay for your bills, to keep the lights on, to keep you elevated and keep you going? I don't know. I'm going to take the money route. If clients or potential clients don't respect the fact that I am just a hardworking person as you are, there's no difference. Why would you want my work for free but you will rather pay this person? Why take advantage of me that way? That seems a bit shady in my opinion, and very inconvenient that you have issues with humanity themselves. Even though you're a human being, you just don't trust my work. Then why are you bothering me in the first place about it? That's the point that I'm trying to make here. And over the times, you can see me create beautiful portraits like this with one speed light, by the way. One speed light. Yes, you guys could have said, well, you could have used a second speed light to fill that shadow on his left side. Yes, I could, but I just want to emphasize those damn eyes. That's the point I'm trying to make in marketing. People want to see that when they want to advertise a beverage of a beer or advertise a product like that. So, or portrait shots. As a portrait photographer, by the way, I tried my best to emphasize color and skin tones as much as possible. And I do a little bit dodge and burn, but I try to get everything right in post so I don't have to do too much. And honestly, I have done professional fashion portraits, and dodge and burn it, to me, it's cool. It's great. It's a great technique, and I think everyone should recommend using it. But sometimes you kind of want to leave that natural beauty in. So I try to avoid a little bit of the dodge and burn, or use minimum dodge and burn. And over the course of times, you can see from all the photos, from doing live concerts with celebrity artists. This is switching Western. I'm not sure if you guys are into hip hop or 90s and 80s hip hop, 2000 hip hop, but they did legends of hip hop. And I did a event show back in New York. That just shows you the clientele that I do get and do provide into this content, and try to emphasize two things. One, I work with a lot of music artists. And two, yes, music artists hire me to do photography when I'm in New York. And when I'm in New York, they would ask me to do something for maybe a few hours. I charge based on an hour. But in order to get that to work, a contract must be signed. But also, a contract also proves how much you make. So when you file your taxes at the end of the year, you know what time is it. You got to get all those paperworks together, all the receipts, all the transactions together, so you know. And I definitely recommend, when you are receiving transaction, you try to, just like what Google's doing, try to label them as you go. So you know when you need to look up a certain particular income, just put, hey, let's do photography income. Boom. All your income for the year should pop up. But with that said, yeah, I just wanted to emphasize that for a little bit. And someone just Instagrammed me and just said that shot that I took of, I guess, was amazing. What? Why is this? I can't get the comments to show for some reason. Okay, there we go. No. Damn YouTube. Okay, I give up. But anyway, guys, so let's talk about the whole objective, why you should do contracts. And let me pull up my contract so give you guys a good example. And I really want to be transparent about this. So keep in mind, this is an example. This is from a previous client. I removed their personal information, but hopefully you get the idea how to form your own contract. So with that said, everyone, I'm going to jump right into this. So Alright, what's going on here? Okay, so here are my contracts. It says 646 Studios International Photography Services. I did block out my Japanese number because lately I've been getting a lot of spam calls and a lot of intrusive calls. I just don't appreciate it. But I'm the owner, so therefore I'm trying to emphasize two things. Two things that you can do as a photographer. You can literally be on your toes and prepare for what's going to happen. When a client talks about your work, do they understand photography? That's one thing you need to emphasize with them is do you understand about color science? Do you understand about sharpness, bokeh? If they don't understand that kind of education factor about photography, then they don't actually know what they're talking about. Especially when later on in the conversation they say, oh well, I have a cousin that can do this for cheaper. That's not the client that you should actually take upon yourself and say, yes, I accept. No, that's a client that's trying to get over you. A client needs something in particular. A client is someone looking for someone and they chose you to do the work. How efficient can you do it? I don't care about the prices. I already looked at your website, but what I want to know, and this is how a client would respond. What I want to know is how fast can you produce the work? I can see on your website, this is when you know the client is so real about what they want. They go to your website and they know from detail to detail. They read your pricing descriptions or your disclaimer on your website. It's so important. Now, keep in mind, this is just an example to show you guys. You can see there's a date of event, right? And if I'm correct, I thought I'd highlighted this. Yeah, I thought I did. But anyway, you can see date of the event and year. So always put the date of the event and year, the photography start time. So keep in mind, if a client does accept and signs, now you have a choice. If they want to sign this, all you have to do is convert this. Now I'm using Microsoft Word to write up my contracts, but you can turn this contract into a PDF. How can you do that? Go to files, and when you save as, you can go say like contracts, right? And the save as type selection, you can definitely go down here and pick PDF, and then you can send it to them and they can sign it if they want. Now there's a way to sign a PDF digitally, and I would probably show you that on the way in this video in the long term, but I just want to give you guys a concept of what's going on here. So basically, we are just trying to focus what should you add into a contract. What should you do when you start making money for your business? Because you're going to have to account for all the income that you make. Now keep in mind, most people don't realize that us photographers have to pay 33 to 36% more tax than the average person, because we own a self-business, a small business. We own something that is in our name, and we want to keep that name in good reputation. This is why I trademarked the Panda Photographer. I want to keep that good name, the Panda. But anyway, you can see that I got the contracting parties, clients address, client cities, clients homes, client zip code, and phone number. Put either state or country, no matter where you travel to. This is why the title describes 646 Studios International Photography Services, because I also provide services when I go see my parents back in Osaka, and when I visit Madison or New York or Portland or San Francisco or Las Vegas, doesn't matter what city, it just emphasizes that, or back in France. So when I'm back in France, I changed a few things in the contracts. I convert this into French so they can understand it better than English, and sometimes I don't have to do that. But additional contact information is provided. Say if you're doing a wedding, and the bride starts to be on a misbehavior. Now in the contract it states that you can opt out when client is causing issues for the photographer. But I get to that later. But anyway, and you can see the information. So we're gonna go to the page 3 now. Well, page 2, events information. Put the venue information and venue address, where it's located, the phone number, the date, time, when it's gonna start, when you should start. Second venue, if there's a second venue, you also put that. If it's a third venue, put the third venue if you have to. But like I said, you can put all this in a PDF, then send it to your client to go let him or her go over through the contract itself, because they want to read what you wrote, which you didn't really wrote it. You didn't write it. You had someone like a legal personnel to write this up for you. So, agreement overview. This is what the client has to read. If they don't fail to read it, then they fail to read the contract. I mean, if they fail to read the contract, then they fail to read this part. Ugh. They fail to read the contract. They have no understanding what they're getting themselves into. This protects you from any wrongdoing when you're on shoot. Now, even though you got paid before the shoot, mind you, always get paid before you shoot. But I'm gonna get that to in a moment as well. Coverage. Add coverage, change the date of venue. So if the client changes the date of venue, you can make changes, but you can also extra charge the client to change the venue, because now basically she's taking work from he or she is taking work from your time with another client, and now you have to like rearrange your schedule and try to fit her in. That's a hassle. So always charge for the changes that are occurring on the contract and date. Non-container fees. I would definitely recommend, if you're doing wedding photography at a big scale, non-container fees is a must. You have to, because this is ensure the client booking, but also it's not 150. It could be 30% of what the wedding's charges are to the photographer. So a non-container fee, basically, you can read it yourself. This is why I'm pausing the screen, so you guys have a better understanding where I'm coming from. Now we're on page 3, and you can see that the non-container fee, in an event of a cancellation, non-container fee is non-refundable. Why is that? Because they booked when you could have booked another client. So you won't lose any revenue, even though you are going to be losing money in the process, but you have gotten some of that money to compensate for your time, for the inconvenience. That's why there's a non-container fee present for this particular reason. Lawyers would tell you, anyone that has done professional photography for quite a long time, is like, yeah, you might want to add that non-container fee in for that contract, bro, or lady. But cancellation fees, there should be no refunds of the retainer after signing. Ooh, this is why you gotta add all of this information in. And I'm just giving you guys a good idea how to write up your contracts. Failure to perform, that's also in there. This is where I was talking about earlier about the client distracting the photographer for doing the work, or causing some stress or distress while you're working. And this has happened to me before. This is why I don't do weddings anymore. I would do small weddings of a group of like 10, but this is why I don't do weddings anymore, because I had bridezillas, scary, and they just rampant on me for no apparent reason. Now, I did hire another photographer to shoot for me, and we had to opt out because she called me the N-word, and that was unacceptable. It's like, I knew I shouldn't trust you. That's what she said. I knew she should not trust N-word people ever again. I'm like, wow. Note that she said it in front of her black friends as well. And I'm pretty sure her black friends was like, this bitch. I'm just saying that literally was like the cake on the icing for me, and I was like, I'm done. This is like the third time this happened. I'm done. I do small weddings, but no weddings at all. But this goes back to the copyright. As a photographer, I want you to understand something very closely. Pay attention. Photographers, if you shoot in RAW, do not ever give up your RAW files unless you document it. Like us photographers on YouTube, we would give out our RAW files so you guys can learn and play with it, or see who has the better touching up skills when it comes out to editing a photo. But we document that on YouTube for a reason, because YouTube and the world knows that that's my file that you own. So if anyone else is to distribute that file without permission, without consulting, and try to sell it, that's a big win for you. So this is why YouTube is a good platform, but YouTube sometimes doesn't take upon itself to realize how much us photographers and videographers provide to the media. We provide so much content that matters most, and not you gamers and techies out there, but exclusive photographer. Okay, so the photographer or photographers hired, and you can see that, and you can read that. Basically, it's just letting the client know that the purpose of the photography and the friends, the clients, the vendors shall not interfere with the photographer. So it just tells you that what you should not do. Don't interfere. Don't tell the photographer how to shoot when they've been doing it for years. And they've been doing it for a long time. Especially when you're not the shooter. Okay? And as a photographer, you should not say that to a client. Just approach them and say, ma'am or sir, can I just do what I do because I'm in this hype mood? Give them something to be amazed by, how much enthusiasm you have for the work. So this is another way for conquering stupidity from other people. You do the opposite. You show them that you all into what you're doing right now. You all in the zone. You like in the zone and you want to work. But okay, let's see here. System don't want to show me the goddamn comments. He's from Turkey. Okay, let's go to the comments. Hey, Captain. He's from Turkey. Well, nice to meet you. What nice photography idea. I love the pics. I'm following you from Instagram, sir, now. That's great. Learning a lot from your videos. Thanks. Hope you shoot. Hope to shoot photos one day like the way you do. Now, let me talk about that. Here's the thing. I shoot what I see. I like to shoot and edit things the way I see it. Now, I like to go outside that box. Knock down that brick wall. I'm outside the box, and I do the opposite of like what other people are doing. But if you do really like my work, arigato. I appreciate it. So interesting tips you are given, sir, about photography. I never heard anywhere. Well, there's plenty of other photographers on this platform that is actually sharing the same content, but they don't focus on contracts a lot. They only share about experiences. Now, I can literally tell you about my experience dealing with all types of clients, families, weddings, events, celebrities, portraits, landscape photography client. Yes, they want a pic. If a client wants something particular in mind, and they are focusing, I want this image here, and I say, how much? And they ask you, how much would you do that for? And like, oh, this is just one image. Do it, because that client is going to recommend someone in her neighborhood or his neighborhood, and say, hey, this guy did this image, and that's what's on my wall. You should contact him. So don't miss the opportunity when you meet nice people that way. So, but anyway, now let's talk about expenses. Travel expenses such as parking, shipping, and destination fees must be reimbursed. So the client has to reimburse you. So you have to calculate ahead of time how much this is going to cost. gas, transportation. If you live more than 20 miles or 15 miles away from the location, they have to compensate you. Now, if you don't have a vehicle, you have to take transportation of some sort, they still have to pay for the time that you spent, because now they are still kind of on the job, on the way to location. They have to pay for the transportation, because that's important. How are you going to transport all this gear? Now, I got a lot of gear right now, and every time I do these videos, I have to set up and break down, put it back in the bag, put it back in the case, put it back in my camera bag, and jet off somewhere. But that's what that said. Event food services. A light meal is required. Now, if you're doing a job more than 6 hours, a 1 hour break or 45-minute break is required. Now, light meals is required for events up to 6 hours for the photographer. For the event up to 8 hours, a full course meal is required. See, you guys didn't see that part. I hope you guys are reading the contracts, because this is how I set up my contracts. So, and I didn't just do it by myself. I got help from 2 other people, Yuki, lovely friend, and good, I would say inspirational when it comes down to social development, because she's also a psychologist as well. But garments, and you have garments, you got a creative license, which is you are taking that image, you edit an image. What else is here? Fortune, let's get force. If the photographer is assigned cannot perform disagreement due to a fire, casualty, strike, or so if you read that particular line there, it states that if the photographer or its assignment cannot be performed, of act to God, blah blah blah, then I have to to return any money due. But that has nothing to do with if someone disrespects you and you just say, you know what, this photo shoot is canceled. That person disrespects you, called you out, did something that they should not have done. But with that said, everyone, I'm the Panda Photographer. You guys want to support what I do as a photographer? I have a PayPal donation link down in the description below. It helps keep the lights on here, by the way, just to let you guys know that. So, but anyway, course of the event. So at the end of my page 6, I do have, please make okay, let's talk about checks for one before I get into this course of event. Checks, okay? I always recommend no personal checks. It has to be a certified bank check from the bank. Why is that? Because if the client asks the bank for a check of this amount, they take that money, that amount out from their account, put it to the side for that check. And not only that, it's a special fiber on the check, so you can't fraud it. And it is made out to me or to you. In this case, but it's made out to you, so you don't have to worry about personal checks. I don't accept personal checks. Sorry, I just can't do it. I had a problem with personal checks have bounced on me twice. No way. I'm going to be responsible for that any longer. I'm cutting that all out. So kill that noise. Don't ever accept personal checks. Don't even accept money orders. Please don't accept money orders, because that's just like if you want to accept a money order, fine. Do your own at your own risk. But trust me, money orders are a pain in the ass. Don't want to do it. Make sure you get a certified check from your bank. Deposit that right into your bank account. You guys have smartphones. Therefore, you can take the smartphone, take a picture of your check right into your bank account. Boom. And you can save that check, put a void on it, because you're going to need it when you do your taxes. So just take it from me. So, course of event, party photography. So I will put the package, which is A, photography party events. Okay, the cost is $10.50. Now, plus transportation 50, plus all the additional services is 100. Initial package all add up to $1,200. This is just an example to just show you guys how you should absolutely do your contracts. And on the bottom, I do have client 1 and client 2, just in case there is. I'm not sure if you guys can see it through my screen, but let me actually, yeah, due to my screen, my face that you see lovely here, I'm gonna yeah, just do that. Now you guys can see the last page. I got 2 client signatures there. Now, as I said, you can make this into a PDF. This PDF can't be altered. This is why you keep the master file with you. Never send them, please. Note, don't ever send them the Microsoft Word copy, because they can alter anything in the email. So be careful how you send these contracts. Always use and convert this into a PDF. Always. So you're trying to wonder, how can I get a digital signature? Easy. You can set it up in Microsoft so a person can sign it, and even as a PDF they can digitally sign it, or in an email they can absolutely say, yes, I agree to these terms to meet up with you to sign this contract. And once the contract is signed as a PDF, you can get it notarized. Okay, get it notarized, and they get copies of that notarized. And then you can go on your own way. Make sure you do have your non-container fee before you walk away. I forgot about that. And then once a day or two before the event starts, make sure that your client is aware that they have to make a payment in order for you to shoot. But I'm the Panda Photographer. I'm trying to make content that makes sense, and this is from my own experience. It's been doing well, and then I had to really push the contracts, because sometimes I wasn't using contracts, and that was my fault. And please don't feel intimidated because someone says, oh, I don't want to sign a contract, can we just shoot? I give you the money. No, because you don't want to be at risk of anything. You want to let them know that I'm serious about what I'm doing. I have to file taxes. I'll make sure how much I'm making a year. I want to see how long can I actually try to stay alive in this community of photographers, because it's a hard job out there. Let's get that correct. It's a very hard job, and most people don't understand. So interested in the tips you are given. Yep. But anyway, I just wanted to emphasize that, guys, it's a really hard community to please. Some photographers might not like your work, but some people outside that don't know photography might like your work. So it depends on the situation at hand. And I think all photographers should open their freaking eyes and pay attention to something so important here. Work is work. If you slightly have a color shift of your skin tones other than the other person, because you think that person does the skin tones a little bit better, it's like, are you serious? A little bit better? I can see by a whole lot, but a little bit better? By a slight margin? Come on, that doesn't make sense to make argument here. The argument is, why Canon released a SL3 shitty ass camera and took a step backwards? I don't understand that. Oh, by the way, tech news. I was gonna give tech news, and I was like looking at the Canon feed. I was like, oh my god, SL3? Did Canon took a shit in its own mouth and went backwards? I don't know. I am just confused. It's like, I'm better off with the M50 than that camera. I just like, what is that camera actually designed for? For dumbass people? I just don't get it. That's just me. I'm nitpicking, but I have a beef with photographer companies, but I will never try to have confrontation with another photographer. There's too much stress, too much bullshit going on out there. You don't really need it. What you need to do is focus on what your priority goals are, and those goals, those goals are, you want to become the best photographer that you can be, not what you think you want everyone for you to be, because that's not the good representation that shows a good photographer as a good photographer. A good photographer is pushing himself or herself to beyond the limit. I was going to say two, but it's beyond the limit. You pushing yourself where you thought it was not possible. But anyway, guys, I just wanted to share that with you about these contracts. It's so important that you share the contracts. Now, you guys are probably saying, how can I make a contract like that? Like, I don't know all the ins and buts about this. Well, you don't need to know ins and buts. You got parents, right? You got family members that you can trust that have been through the legal system of owning some type of business. They can help you approach those steps with a contract. My contract may be different from other photographers' contracts, and I've seen other photographers' contracts. I've seen one guy from London. He had a contract was so thorough. I was like, damn, you could put someone in prison with this contract instantly. Scary, super scary. I thought it was super scary. I don't know about you guys. I thought it was just pure scary. But anyway. So with that said, everyone, I'm just trying to provide some content that makes sense so you guys have a better. If I work for a photography studio as an employee in the future, now, can I make a contract with the photography owner to protect myself if I attempt? I'm not understanding. Like that. He probably will not give me a job. Not understand. Okay, so if you work for a photography company or studio as an employee in the future, can you make a contract with the photographer or the owner to protect yourself? Yes, because if you're shooting, but keep in mind, this is different from what the contract might be slightly different. It will be slightly different, honestly. Hear me out. If you're working for a photography studio, no, always have a photography studio make a contract for you to protect you from any wrongdoing. So if you under the photography studio, even though they also have to protect themselves, they have to make you a contract just in case a client says you didn't take my photos, or you were being rude, you're being very unprofessional. It helps you in the long term. Or you have to also understand what the contract means too. What laws that should be provided, what you should also inform some clients about the law, about photos, images, that I have a right as a photographer to use these images for editorial and educational purposes if I choose to advertise this as a marketing education tools. And they have to understand that as a photographer, this is what I do. I'm a self-taught photographer. I've been doing photography since I was a kid, off and on. Started video recording, everything. So this experience comes naturally. But if you're under the photographer's studio brand and he also has contracts, yes, have him or her write you a contract as well to protect you. So if you're shooting as well on scene, you taking shots from the camera of your choosing, that's your photos. Those are your photos. He didn't pull the trigger, she didn't pull the trigger, the model didn't pull the trigger. You pulled the trigger. Those are your photos. So you have all rights to those photos. I don't care no what photographer says. You might be working for a studio, but once you pull that trigger, those are your photos. So what else did he say? Oh, you are quite welcome. You are quite welcome. Now, if you guys be so kind, I do have a PayPal donation link down in the descriptions below. You don't need a PayPal account to sign, but if you guys want to help me keep the lights on here on at ThePandaPhotographer. A small donation of any amount would do. I appreciate the time. But anyway, guys, I just want to provide a contract sense of things. And if you guys are not doing contracts, please try to provide contracts. Even if you're not, even if you're a professional I'm going to say an enthusiast photographer like myself, and sometimes you don't want to use contracts for smaller projects, that's fine. But let them know that you're going to write something up on paper, just a little something that says, this, I'm taking photos for you, you agree to this. Or you can do it the smart way too. You can say, hey, I do have a YouTube channel and I'm going to be documenting this because I want to show my audience how I can shoot. Which you might be in the video? Sure. You're giving that client an opportunity to give consent to you to record, document, and take photos and use these photos for editorial purposes, which you are doing it when you're doing a YouTube live video or YouTube video. So that's another way for getting consent from the client. So hopefully that does help you. Understand that this is the media, and after Facebook is going to make money off your photos. By the way, recently, did you guys read the newspapers or the papers or the news lately? Facebook wants to take your family photos. If you're drinking like this beverage here, if Facebook sees me with this, I took a picture with this bottle, they will try to make money to market this particular mascot here, mascot in Madison, Wisconsin, right? So, what does that mean? Does UW get a cut? Do I get a cut? Because I have rights to those photos. And I understand the Facebook's new policy, but damn, too many breaches, too many data leak breaches. I don't trust Facebook, and I really think Facebook needs to stop. Literally, stop. You just can't just decide to make money off someone else's pictures without giving them a piece of that pie. I just find that a little bit disturbing, in my opinion. This is why I'm thinking about it's too late to cancel Facebook. They got everything from back when, I don't know, they showed me an old photo recently from like 2005 or something like that. I was like, what? I haven't seen this in like over 10 years. What the hell are you doing with it, Facebook? That's creepy. But I don't know, guys. I'm the ThePandaPhotographer, and I hope you guys like this room here that I'm using. I like white tables. I enjoy white tables. It brings out the black in my items. So if you guys are curious, I do have all the lighting set up here, and the links down below, Amazon affiliate links. But Wacom tablet, Logitech G602 gaming mouse, really an amazing freaking mouse. And I have to say, I am so impressed when I play games with this quite a bit. And if you guys haven't recently watched my Apex Legends gameplays, this thing is pretty damn accurate. But I gotta improve on my skills. But I'm gonna show you guys something later that I actually did improve on my my ranking. I'm ranked 65 now. You're gonna say, what? How the hell do you get from 50 to 65 that fast? Like, I don't know, when I'm playing off camera, I'm just a beast. It's just weird. But I just want to share that to the gamers that are watching this. But as a YouTube content creator, I just try to make content that makes sense. So thank you guys for taking the time out to watch this episode. And hopefully it give you some insight of where to approach this contract situation with photographers. But I mean, as photographers to clients, and always. And can I say a few more things? Please don't feel scared to tell a client no. Don't have to be afraid to say no. Just because money is right there doesn't mean it's going to be good money. So always say no. Or if they get out of control and start cursing at you like that woman did at the wedding a couple years back, and call you N-word, you be like, girl, eat a bag of dicks. I'm just kidding. But anyway, guys, thank you for watching. I'm the ThePandaPhotographer. Oh, if you guys want to know where I get that Eat a Bagger, it's this comedy show. One day I'm just flicking through. Where was I? I was in Montreal and I was flicking through the channel, and it's like, and I seen this old comedy stand. I was like, oh, this is classic. I can watch this. And he said it, and I was like, oh, that's catchy. So, I don't own that. But anyway, if you like the content, please do subscribe, like, and share the content. If you guys want to support what I do, affiliate links to Amazon links for all the lighting setup here is down in the descriptions below. Even this laptop, even though I don't think you want to buy this laptop after RTX is out and ray tracing, but don't download the new update for your NVIDIA cards, because if you are in older generation cards and trying to get that RXT performance ray tracing, your laptop or your video card might heat up a little bit. So fair warning. But anyway, eat, sleep, photography, videography, repeat, everyone. Follow me on Instagram, social medias, and I will see you guys in the next video. And I appreciate you guys taking the time out to watch this ugly face of this person. But with that said, you guys take care. Happy shooting. Peace.